Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Grimdark History Podcast, where we explore the intersection between history and popular fiction. What we're going to do here today is just talk briefly about our upcoming series on Alexander the Great, who he is, why we're even doing this. So first up, Alexander the Great, we are going to be covering him, his father, and his mother, Philip II of Macedon and Olympias of the soon-to-be Kingdom of Epirus. We'll touch on the state of Greece from the Greco-Persian Wars, the Peloponnesian Wars, the Corinthian Wars, all the way to his death, which is almost about 200 years of Greek and Persian history. Why we would even be interested in covering this might be a question you're asking. Well, for many of the people listening, you know Alexander as somebody who conquered a lot of land, killed or enslaved a lot of people, and was possibly nice and multicultural to others, and then he died. There's a lot more nuance and interesting things to talk about that than just the battles that he had and the people that he conquered. And I want to share that with you. We're going to do a 2-for-1 in this series. First up, the movie Alexander by Oliver Stone in 2004. It takes a lot of heat for inaccuracies and yet is still regarded as a somewhat faithful representation of Alexander. There's also the recent Netflix documentary on Alexander that maybe you're interested in. Was it really like that? And you're taking a look on podcasts or on YouTube and you've stumbled across my series. These shows take a much more pragmatic and modern look about the possible motivations of Alexander, and there's some nuance missing, I think, from what may have been his possible motivations. So, our Season 1 theme has been the ancient history of the Warhammer 40,000 fictional universe. And in that universe, there's a god emperor of mankind who pops up throughout our own history, being a number of famous people, and notably, he's Alexander the Great, and in the lore, he weeps when there were no more worlds left to conquer. We want to explore that and more and find out what were the real motivations of Alexander from the Greek perspective and not necessarily our modern take on what that perspective would have been. We're going to look at the destruction of democracy in Greece, the destruction of the Persian Empire, the creation of empires that will last until the Muslim expansion out of Arabia hundreds of years later. And you may also have heard at some point that Alexander thought he was a god, that the Persians and Egyptians worshipped him as a god. And again, there's a lot more nuance and interesting stories there to explore than what lies on the surface, and that's what we're going to look at. We're going to explore the religion of these worlds, of the people of Alexander, his deep-seated roots, and the religion of the Orphic mysteries, and how all of these things might have put him on an unfortunate path that only had one end. So join me as we explore the life, history, religion, and story of Alexander the Great in our upcoming series titled The Ascension of Alexander.